Guys, as you know, I posted last night about Wes Craven passing away, and I was pretty torn up about the whole thing. And I got so many comments, and I really appreciate all the kind words you guys said. You guys were going through it with me, and we all just kind of grieved together. And this is me giving all you guys a big group hug right now. But anyway, I just finished watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. I haven't seen it in quite a few years, and I wanted to do something special. I wanted to review one of Wes Craven's movies, and what better than A Nightmare on Elm Street. So like I said, I watched it again just so I could put some fresh eyes on it and give it a fair rating. This one is for you, Wes. A Nightmare on Elm Street stars Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, Johnny Depp, and is directed by the master, the one and only Wes Craven. A Nightmare on Elm Street is such a unique plot. It really is. And the story behind it is really interesting because Wes Craven, he spent 3 years after he wrote the script trying to get somebody to buy it. And shockingly, nobody would buy this amazing script. And it's so inventive and unique, and it has the perfect killer. To me, that is just shocking. And he got the idea from a real life case of a young boy who was having nightmares, and he was taking sleeping pills because he didn't want to fall asleep. In real life, this boy died. And in a nutshell, A Nightmare on Elm Street is about this group of kids who are basically paying for the sins of their parents. Freddy Krueger was a child murderer, and the parents found out about this, and they took the law into their own hands and they burned him to death. So Freddy comes back in the dreams of the children. And guys, after watching this again after all these years, this is really a great movie. I mean, there is not a dry spot in it. It is so well crafted. I'll start off with the characters. All the characters are so interesting, and even the kids, they don't seem like your normal slasher fodder. They seem like real kids with real problems. Take for instance, I just reviewed Friday the 13th. All these kids were at camp and having fun. In A Nightmare on Elm Street, these kids, throughout the whole movie, they are constantly plagued by the thought that they might die if they go to sleep. So there's no real build-up where they don't know who the killer is and then all of a sudden they're running from him. They know who the killer is, and they spend the whole movie trying to stay awake so they won't die. I thought Heather Langenkamp was really, really good in this role, and you can tell that she wanted to sink her teeth into it and do a good job. She didn't want to be just a damsel in distress. She wanted to fight back. She is a big part of why this movie is so good, because in the third act, she stands up for herself. She wants to have that Ripley moment from Alien. She kind of kicks ass. And I love all the sequences where she's setting up these booby traps and Freddy is chasing her around the house, and she is constantly one step ahead of him because she now knows how to combat him. Also, Robert Englund. I never realized how great of a Freddy he was until I watched this one, because as you all know, after probably A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, then he starts getting a little campy and starts going into more of a comedic Freddy. Whereas in the first one, they really don't even show him that much, and when they do show him, he is dark and he is in the shadows, and he doesn't really cut too many one-liners. It's pretty straightforward and serious. And that is the Freddy that I really enjoy. And I really love all the settings in this movie, especially when they are in the dreams. Every scene in the dreams, even before somebody dies, is just so creative and so inventive. Because when you're telling a story that takes place in your dreams, you have carte blanche. You can go anywhere. And that's where the Nightmare franchise has the edge on other franchises. Freddy could be in somebody's house, he could be in a ballroom, he could be on the beach, he could be anywhere. And they do explore that aspect later on in the series, and there's some hits and some misses. I'm glad that they kept him mostly in the boiler room for this movie, because the boiler room is just really, really creepy. And he gets to scratch his knives on the pipes in the boiler room, and it makes that squeaking noise, and oh, it's just creepy. And another thing I noticed from watching it this time is the score. It is such a fun score. It's really effective, it's eerie, and I love the whole 80s synth aspect to it. Really, really effective score. Also, all the deaths in this movie are so creative and very memorable. And I could probably name off 3 or 4 great examples from just this one movie, like the scene where Tina is in the bedroom and then Freddy gets her in her sleep, and then she goes upside down and she's crawling on the ceiling and she's bleeding, and it's just insane. You can't do scenes like that in the real world, but in the dream world it works. Also, I love the scene where Nancy's character is laying in the bed and you see Freddy come out through the wall, and they just did that scene with some spandex. I mean, they probably spent $50 on that special effect, and it works flawlessly. And then everybody knows the famous bathtub scene where Nancy's sitting in the bathtub and Freddy's knives come out. So many iconic death scenes. And finally, I have to talk about Wes Craven. With a project that is this ambitious and with a tiny budget that it had, any other director could have really made this just fall flat on its face. But Wes Craven, he was able to put all this together and create really a masterpiece. And if you want proof that Wes Craven is the master, look no further than A Nightmare on Elm Street. It is just such a flawless horror film. So guys, I know I'm feeling a little bit sentimental, but I have to give this movie Trapped on an Island. I really had that much of a great time with it. I forgot how awesome A Nightmare on Elm Street is. So Wes Craven fans, let me know what your favorite Wes Craven film is. And if you love the Nightmare series, let me know what your favorites of that series are. But anyway guys, again, thank you so much for getting through this together. I had such a fun time reminiscing about this movie and about the great Wes Craven. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and Humdrum out.